and welcome back to another episode of Into the 99, where we've got 99 cards, because Commander's number one. I am one of your hosts, Daniel. I am joined today with Slothy. Slothy, how's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty well. It was another nice warm week in January, so can't complain about that. How you doing?
I'm doing good, but I don't know if you've looked outside just yet.
Keeping my windows closed because I don't want to be sad.
Yeah, it is snowing for sure, so that hasn't been the greatest. It was a pretty good week. It was definitely nice. Brian is away. He's stuck working, so no Brian this week. You're stuck with just Slothy and I. Just looking at our list here, Slothy, do you want to tell them what we're doing today?
Absolutely. So today, talking about Kinnan Dorks Prodigy. Green and a blue for a 2/2 legendary human druid. Whenever you tap a non-land permanent for mana, add 1 mana of any type that permanent produced. And you can pay 5 green and blue to look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a non-human creature card from among them onto the battlefield. The rest will go to the bottom of your library in a random order. Kinnan,
such a cool commander.
Yeah, he was one of my favorites since Ikoria came out. It's so easy to build as well for newer players.
It's one of the commanders that's just consistent all the time, right? Like, Kinnan is going to do what Kinnan does pretty much regardless how you build it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's, I think, like you said, a very good commander for a newer player. And it doesn't have to be a crazy budget. You can go so many directions with this. Like, I'm an animal and I would go into Eldrazi for sure.
Yeah.
But it didn't look like you had any of them in here because you're a nice person.
No, not in this version. Another version that I have is a lot meaner. I think I showed you that one before, but
yeah. No, this like I was saying, I just did a quick rip through the deck list there, and I thought it looked really cool. But yeah, Kinnan's just ability to dump that mana in. It's got a mana sink, which is always going to be good in a commander in general, especially one that's making you ramp so very hard.
Yeah.
Like this deck just phenomenally accelerates like anything, like just non-land permanents, right? A Soul Ring that taps for 3 is pretty crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you get things like as soon as you have a commander that can make infinite mana with one other card, well, that's insane.
And the fact that that it has something to do with that infinite mana.
Yeah.
Right? So,
yeah, as long as you can filter in colors, then you're just fine.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think this is a very, very cool commander. Let's what section do you want to start with this one? Because it's this one's your baby.
There's not really anything in the land section, so why don't we start with sorceries?
All right, where's my so we've got Cultivate. I love Cultivate in every deck.
Yeah.
You're ramping hard, but you can never ramp too hard, I don't think.
Exactly. Cultivate. It's mostly just to get blue because there's a lot of elves in this deck. Yeah,
you look like you're a really heavy green pip, so it looks like you need to find that blue mana at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Then we've got Curse of the Swine. X double blue. Exile X target creatures. For each creature exiled this way, its controller creates a 2/2 green boar creature token.
Yeah, that's a problem in a deck that can generate just like such a wild amount of mana so quickly.
Mm-hmm. And this next one made me think of you based on another card that I know you really don't like at all.
I don't mind this one as much as I hate Cyclonic Rift, but this one's Distorting Wake, and I actually think it's very cool artwork. I like playing this one. X triple blue. You return X target non-land permanents to their owner's hands. I like this one.
Yeah. And in a deck like Kinnan, it's so easy for X to just be everything.
Well, yeah, X being 10 is nothing in a deck like this. Like, you're running so much ramp, right? So,
yeah, exactly. Then we've got Eldritch Evolution. 1 double green. As an additional cost to cast it, sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a creature card with mana value X or less, where X is 2 plus the sacrificed creature's mana value. Put that card onto the battlefield and then shuffle your library and exile Eldritch Evolution.
I think I really like these chain effects, right? Like, what's the Prime Speaker Zagana? Is that what it is? Maybe that's Zagana. It's one of them. The Prime Speaker Yisan does it. I like the chain. I've never built any of the chain ones, and they look really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I'll have to build Zagana next.
Prime Speaker Vannifar, that's what it is.
Vannifar, yes.
An Elf Ooze Wizard, and I love Ooze. Maybe that's what I make. Maybe I make a Prime Wizard Vannifar. Prime Speaker, Prime Wizard, either way. Yeah.
Same thing.
Back to the list, we've got a Kodama's Reach, just another great card, which is really going up in price because people just, the classics are the classics, right? They, sorry for another quick aside. We have one of the people I interact with lots on Instagram is Mike. Mike, he's been really good. He was great in the league. He makes really funny videos and stuff. Maybe I'll put a link to Mike's stuff in the show as well. Mike's very entertaining, but he had a great post this week about reviewing your deck and what you're doing, cards that you liked at one point or that you thought were really good and had to go in decks and just took out at a point. I think I'm going to do an episode and I'll get Mike on as a guest for that one. I think that'd be really great.
Mm-hmm.
But Kodama's Reach, Cultivate, like those 3 mana ramp cards just have not phased out of the format. They're not too slow. They're just doing really good work.
Yeah, they're just kind of like exactly where you want them to be for getting your stuff out there. You can play them usually either turn 2 or turn 3.
Yeah.
Get whatever basic you want.
Well, I was going to say Cultivate and Kodama's Reach in particular have made unkeepable hands keepable for me.
Absolutely. Just knowing that you can fix yourself very soon.
Yeah, being able to see, okay, I've got a green mana, I've got this, like we can get the colors we want.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll never stop running those. Oh, you take this next one. That's gross.
I sure will. Next up, we got Mass Manipulation. X, and 4 blue. Gain control of X target creatures and or planeswalkers.
Yeah.
This is a card from back in Ravnica Allegiance when I actually played Standard. And which is kind of gross to think about. But this was a card that I ran in my deck and it was just so good. And it's not stopped being so good in decks like this.
Well, this is also really interesting because we've got so many completed planeswalkers coming up. So there's a great chance to just rip them away from people. And that's very funny.
Absolutely. They're taking the new, was it the new Vraska? That one looked pretty decent.
The new Vraska, the new Jace, like all of these. Just the fact you can wait till planeswalkers are basically in alt range and swipe them is gross.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everyone just thinks you're ignoring it and you're just waiting to quickly take it away. That's very funny. Like especially into a Super Friends deck, losing like 10-year planeswalkers would be gross.
Absolutely.
You've got an overrun as well. Something to do with all these little mana dorks, I assume. We've got 2 triple green. Creatures in control get 3/3 and trample till end of turn.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong there.
No, it's pretty simple. Then we got Rite of Replication. 2 double blue. It's got a kicker for 5. You can create a token that's a copy of target creature. If that spell was kicked, create 5 of those tokens instead.
Yeah, it's always going to be kicked.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're never casting it for 4. I've played this card thousands of times in different decks across the years. Never once has it been for 4 mana.
No, this is, you have to pay it for 9.
Yeah, this is a 9 CMC card, and it's worth every land that you put into it.
Absolutely.
You also have a great game ender with Triumph of the Hordes, which you don't really see very often. I think maybe it just hasn't been reprinted soon enough, but Triumph of the Hordes does work. It's 2 double green. Until end of turn, creatures you control get 1/1, trample, and infect. Maybe you don't see it very often because it just feels like a kind of bad way to win in Commander with infect, but
I feel like with the new Phyrexia stuff that this card is going to see a bump in price.
Yeah,
like, unfortunately, it didn't get reprinted into the Abzan deck, which would have been nice, but it is definitely going to go up in price.
Yeah, I see. I think I see Sun Cleanser going up, to be honest, because everything's going to be poison counters. That's That's another episode entirely. We got to talk about that one. Just I will save those notes. I'm going to put that in our group chat here. There we go. I'll remember that later. Yeah. Anyways, we also finishing this list off. We've got Windfall, one of my favorite cards in all of Magic. It's 2 and a blue. Each player discards their hand, then draws cards equal to the number of cards a player discarded this way. Then it says rich is a relative term. I love every part of this card, from the artwork to the effect to the flavor text. I can't have enough Windfalls.
Yeah, absolutely. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Why don't we move into the instants next?
All right, start us off here.
Yeah. So first instant we got is an offer you can't refuse. 1 blue, counter target non-creature spell. Its controller creates 2 treasure tokens.
Yeah.
I love this card so much. I say it every time it's in a deck, but I love this card so much.
One of the best cards of last year. Just that one mana. That's a trade I'll make 10 out of 10 times for, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Even someone losing their Soul Ring to this, and they're left with 2 treasures instead of a Eternal Soul Ring on the field, I'm all about it. It wouldn't be your deck without some interaction as well. Some Beast Within, 2 and a green. Destroy target permanent. Its controller creates 3/3 green beast.
Yeah. Then we've got Court of Calling, X triple green. It's got Convoke. Search your library for a creature card with mana value X or less and put it on the battlefield, and then shuffle your library.
I love Convoke. It's such a good mechanic.
Yeah, I really like that one.
We have Condescend as well. Another one you don't see played very often, but with how much mana you can make, it makes sense. It's X and a blue. Counter target spell unless its controller plays X, scry 2. That's going to be rough. You're not going to be the one running out of mana in this deck.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Then we got Counterspell, 2 blue, counter target spell.
Yeah, crop rotation. Again, I assume you're just searching for something blue.
Yeah.
Okay. So just something to filter us to a blue mana.
Yeah, either that or a Rogue's Passage.
Oh yeah, Rogue's Passage is great.
Mm-hmm. Then we've got Decisive Denial. Green and a blue, you can choose one. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control, or counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 3.
I like that. Again, nice and easy tax people out of their spells. The mana leak kind of effects really wreck the game for people, because not only are you countering, you're giving people that option, and people already cast the spell they wanted to cast. So they're a lot more likely to be like, well, I need that spell that I'm playing. And it can really, really upset or change the turn's order, right? Like they could have been building to something explosive, and that 3 is rough to have to pay extra on a spell.
Absolutely. And if you're looking to play a lot of creatures at instant speed through Kinnan's ability, then having them not be able to just instantly path it or something like that.
Yeah.
Is incredibly useful.
That extra tax on spells is why I love the ward mechanic so much. Mm-hmm. Ward is just a gross mechanic because it really changes the threat assessment, right? Like, again, like you said, a Path to Exile is a no-brainer for something that's problematic, but is it a no-brainer at 4 mana? Is it worth that? Probably not as much.
Exactly.
Yeah, I really like those effects. We've also got a Dispel, 1 blue, you counter target instant.
Yep. Then we've got Dissipate, 1 and double blue. Counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard.
That's gross.
Yeah.
You have Dramatic Reversal, untap all non-land permanents you control, and yeah, Dramatic Reversal is super problematic in general as a card.
Mm-hmm.
It's rough, like really, really rough.
And yeah, this next one is kind of in here because I think it will be funny. It's Drown in Dreams, X2 and a blue. You can choose one. If you control a commander as you cast a spell, you may choose both. Target player draws X cards, and target player mills twice X cards. You're going to be generating enough mana in this deck in so many different ways that you can just mill 2 people out with this.
I was going to say, this card, mostly in this deck, is a kill 2 players card.
Exactly.
Target player draws X, yeah, because generating with the list you've got, especially like Kinnan goes infinite so easy, right?
Yeah.
So infinite and a blue, you kill 2 players. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a cool card. You don't really see that one played. I don't know what that deck is from.
That's from the Midnight Hunt Commanders.
Oh, okay. Like the which was
that one?
Midnight Hunt.
That was in Wilhelt.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I have one of those somewhere.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, Drown in Dreams, that would make sense in Wilhelm. We've got Growth Spiral. Again, a card that I can't ever read without telling people how much I like the artwork of.
The art is good.
Yeah, it's green and a blue. You draw a card. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. That's great.
Yeah. We got Croson Grip, 2 and a green. It's got Split Second and Destroy Target Artifact or Enchantment.
Yeah. Looking at these, it's the game's in a nice spot when these great uncommons are at $1 at most, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not too crazy. They're just reasonable.
Nice and accessible.
Yeah.
Oh, and we were talking about this in the group chat a little bit yesterday. But I noticed that they reprinted the free spell from the Ikoria Commander decks, the white one.
So hopefully we're getting some Otrini's Relics and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, that just made me so happy that they're finally getting reprinted. They won't be, well, the blue one and the red one won't be like, what is it, it's like $50+ anymore, hopefully.
Are they reprinting all of them or just?
I hope so.
We just know that one is spoiled so far.
Yeah, one's getting reprinted in Phyrexia, which means they might try to get the rest of them out there, but
Makes
I think
sense.
Yeah.
Those should be cards that are in the what's it called? The commander sets of the year.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. People love them so much. We've also got Mana Leak, as I was saying earlier. I love that kind of effect. 1 and a blue, counter target spell unless the controller pays 3.
Yeah. Then we've got Negate, 1 and a blue, counter target non-creature spell.
Yep. You have Pull from Tomorrow. X double blue, draw X cards, then discard a card. That's pretty easy when it's like 10. I'll throw away 1 forest.
Yeah, exactly. We got Return to Nature, 1 and a green. You can choose one, destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, or exile target card from a graveyard.
Yep.
Another great interaction piece for 30 cents.
Yeah. This next one you don't ever really see played, Simic Charm. 1 green, 1 blue. You choose one. Target creature gets 3/3 till end of turn. Permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn, that's a great ability for 2 mana.
Yeah.
Or you can return target creature to its owner's hand. So offense and defense built into it. You can give all of your things hexproof, which is really, really good as an ability. Or you can save something or get rid of I play a Seedborn, you're like, oh great, I put Seedborn back in your hand.
Exactly.
Yeah, right? I like that a lot.
Yeah. And the last instant that we've got is Summoner's Pact. 0 mana. Search your library for a green creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. And at the beginning of your next upkeep, pay 2 and double green, and if you don't, you lose the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, fair.
Also, Seedborn Muse is not in this list, but it is in my other one. Remember.
There's one card you're definitely missing in this one.
Yeah? What's that?
I'm looking for the name of it right now because I can't remember. I think Shaman of the Forgotten Ways.
I think I ran into the U problem with that one.
You just have too many cards?
I didn't have one sitting in front of me.
That's fair. Yeah, I like that ability to kill the table with that last drop everyone's turn, and you have that formidable mana so fast. So.
Oh yeah.
No, that's a pretty good one. Do you want to do artifacts or let's do enchantments?
Yeah, let's do enchantments.
So you've got Freed from the Real, which is very, very good for if a creature can produce any blue, then Freed is infinite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, I definitely like it. It's a combo piece in anything like a Zaxara deck, like a Kinnan deck. That's a good card.
Yeah, this card is so good, and it's just so good.
Nice and cheap right now too, which is good.
Mm-hmm. We've got Kenrith's Transformation, 1 and a green, enchant creature. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. An enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a green elk with base power and toughness 3/3.
That's one of the best pieces of removal in the format, I think.
Yep.
You don't destroy or exile my commander. You just simply elkify it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a really good one. Leyline of Abundance is our next one as well, which is good in every deck that runs it, but in this one, it's crazy. 2 double green. If it's in your opening hand, you can start with it on the battlefield. Whenever you tap a creature for mana, add an additional green. And for 6 double green, you put a 1 on counter on each creature you control. That's again a great mana sink for all this infinite mana. Make your creatures like these elves infinitely huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, make with Kinnan out, a Lana War Elf tapping for 3 mana is nuts. It's just silly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, one with Lana War Elf should never be so strong.
Next up, we got Simic Ascendancy. Green and a blue. You can pay 1 green and blue to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. And whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on a creature you control, put that many growth counters on Simic Ascendancy. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if Simic Ascendancy has 20 or more growth counters on it, you win the game.
Another great way to dump your mana.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a way to quickly end things if you need to.
I love a good alternative win. And again, you can do that right at someone's end step. You don't have to dump the mana in immediately.
Exactly.
You're also running Telepathy, which is a very annoying card, to be honest. Your opponents play with their hands revealed for 1 blue.
Yeah, I really wish that this card was played more
I
because it's so good. It's 1 mana. You can see everything that your opponents are doing. They can't see what you're doing, and it's 50 cents.
you get insane game knowledge with it. I run
Yeah.
this in like things like centriplets, so that I
Yeah.
can see whose turn I want to take or whose hand I want to take for the turn.
Hmm.
But yeah, telepathy is just a great card in general.
Yeah.
Do you want to do? You've got a few more sections here. We have our artifacts, our elves, and our creatures. Where do you want to go?
Let's knock the elves out real quick because a lot of them do very similar things.
All right, so we've got Beast Whisperer. Beast Whisperer is 2 double green for a 2/3 elf druid. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw. That's gonna definitely matter. You've got you don't really as much need the draw for creatures. You can filter your creature so fast, but you want to be able to get to your what's it called? You want to be able to get to your instants and sorceries.
Yeah, instant sorceries and combo pieces. Then we've got Circle of Dreams Druid. 3 green for a 2/1 elf druid. You can tap it to add green for each creature you control.
Yep. I definitely I love Circle of Dreams Druid. Gaia's Cradle Truda.
Yeah, and the art is so good on it. I absolutely love the art.
Yeah. You also have your Elvish Archdruid. Elvish Archdruid is amazing.
Yeah.
Other elves get 1/1, and you add a green for each elf you control.
Yeah, so pretty good.
Yeah, you got a little druid sub theme going on. Your commander's a druid. Most of these are druids.
Mm-hmm. That was totally unintentional until after I had built it.
That's fair. That's fair.
We've got Elvish Mystic, 1/1 elf druid for a green. You can tap it for green.
Yep. I like that. Fauna Shaman to go search for whatever you want here. 1 and a green, Elf Shaman. Pay a green, tap it, discard a creature card, search the library for a creature card, put it into your hand, then shuffle.
Yeah. Then we've got Gyre Sage, 1 and a green for a 1/2 elf druid with Evolve. And just a quick aside, Evolve is one of my favorite mechanics of all time.
Okay.
It was so I started back in Return to Ravnica.
Mm-hmm.
So it was one of the first mechanics that I was introduced to. And
And you just loved it the whole time, hey?
Yeah, I love it so much. But they haven't really used it too much recently. So whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, if that creature has a greater power or toughness than this creature, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. And you can tap it for green for each +1/+1 counter on Gyre Siege.
Yeah. I like that. A good spot to dump all those 1/1s.
Yeah.
You also have Incubation Druid, 1 and a green for an elf druid. Tap to add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. If it has a 1/1 counter on, add 3 instead. With your commander out, this is going to be adding 4 mana, and in a worst case, it's still adding 2 mana, and it has the Adapt 3. 3 double green, Adapt 3. If it has no 1/1 counters on, you put 3 1/1s on it. That's solid.
Yeah. Then we've got Llanowar Elves, green for a 1/1 elf druid. You can tap it for green.
Got a lot of druids in here. You should put that tap 7 druids, take people's land card.
I should.
That's hilarious.
That'd be a good idea.
That's a scumbag card, and I love it. We also have Llanowar Tribe, triple green, taps for triple green, 3/3 elf druid.
Yeah. We've got Marwyn the Nurturer, 2 and a green for a 1/1 elf druid. Whenever another elf enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Marwyn the Nurturer, and you can tap it to add an amount of green equal to Marwyn's power.
Marwyn's one of my favorite cards. It's just such a fun elf to get on the field. It's such a fun elf to use as a commander. I love this card.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's I think I've been thinking for a while about making just a straight Marwyn deck. Like Marwyn and big spells or Marwyn Eldrazi. Everything's Eldrazi with me lately. I got a problem.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been building some fun things. Definitely come play. Yeah, we also have Priest of Titania, which is another one of my favorite arts in Magic. I just really like how this has been drawn always.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1 in a green, an elf druid, 1/1, and you tap to add a green for each elf on the battlefield.
Yeah. And the last elf is Quirion Elves, 1 and a green for a 1/1 elf druid. As Quirion Elves enters the battlefield, choose a color, and you can tap to add green to your mana pool, or you can tap to add 1 mana of the chosen color to your mana pool.
Yeah, I like that. It gives you your extra source of blue that you need. It lets you have that good filter. This is a freed from the real candidate for infinite mana.
Yeah.
Really easy. Yeah.
This one, what's his name? Incubation Druid.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like those.
Right. Which section do you want to do next?
Let's finish our creatures here. We've got
Sure.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm really, really enjoying this one. We're really ripping through these. Yeah, so we've got our next creature section is Archetype of Endurance. An expensive creature, but again, expensive doesn't matter in this, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So Archetype of Endurance is 6 double green for a 6/5/4. Creatures you control have hexproof, and creatures your opponents control lose hexproof and cannot have or gain hexproof.
Yeah.
I like that one. It's nice and simple, good protection, and again, 8 mana is nothing. Like when your Llanowar Elf's going to be like tapping for 3 or 4, that's nothing.
That's not a big deal at all.
Right.
Then we've got Archetype of Imagination for double green. It's a 3/2 human wizard. Creatures you control have flying. Creatures your opponents control lose flying and can't have or gain flying. And
I hate this card. It's just it's so good.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
I was going to say, I bet this would look really nice in foil. I've seen many foil Archetype of Endurance, but I've never seen a foil Archetype of Imagination.
I think I might have one somewhere.
I bet it looks wonderful in foiling. Yeah. We also have this Biomancer's Familiar. It is 1 green, 1 blue for a 2/2 mutant. Activated abilities of creatures you control cost 2 less to activate. This effect can't reduce the amount of mana and ability cost to less than 1. And you tap the next time creature adapts this turn. It adapts as though it had no 1/1 counters on it, which is very cool for an adapt deck. People don't really see it used that much, right? But that is a cool second ability.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that that's going to cut your ability down from 7 to 5. That's great.
Yeah, that's exactly why it's in here, just to make it that much easier to cast. And next up, we've got Enray's Forerunners, 5 triple green for a 7/7 boar with Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. When it enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and Vigilance and Trample until end of turn.
I love this card.
It's a phenomenal finisher in the Kinnan deck.
Yeah, well, it gets so big, so fast. I love this as, like, again, I speak endlessly about how much I like enter the battlefield triggers and landfall triggers. Mm-hmm. And yeah, this is just a really, really cool. It does a lot. It does a lot because it also has haste.
Yep.
It drops down heavy, and especially in an elf deck, it's gross.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah.
This next one's really interesting in this deck. You have Galta, Primal Hunger, 10 double green for an Elder Dinosaur, 12/12. X less, where X is the total power of creatures you control, and it has Trample. That's going to come down for 2 pretty much always. And even if it doesn't, even if you're raw casting it, you've got the mana.
Yeah. And even so, even if you've got the power on there and you hit that with your Kinnan flip, that's an instant speed 12/12.
Yep. An instant speed 12/12 is gross.
Yeah. I was debating throwing Thrasta in this one too.
Okay.
Because that one's fun.
Which one is Thrasta again?
Thrasta, let me pull it up so I can read the entire thing. That's the one from Modern Horizons 2. It's the 7/7 for 12.
Yep.
Costs 3 less to cast for each other spell cast this turn. It's got Trample over Planeswalkers, and Haste.
Oh, I like
and it has
one.
Hexproof as long as it enters the battlefield this turn.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
Yeah. Next up, we got Murkfiend Liege, 2 Hybrid Simic for a 4/4 horror. Other green creatures you control get +1/+1. Other blue creatures you control get +1/+1. And untap all green and/or blue creatures you control during each other player's untap step.
Yeah. What else can you say on it, right?
Yeah, being able to hit your Kinnan on everybody's turn is so good.
I love Murkfiend Liege.
Yeah.
And again, another very just good buff.
Yeah, absolutely.
You also have Nyxbloom Ancient, which is pretty bonkers in this. Yeah, Nyxbloom is 4 triple green for a 5/5 elemental with Trample. If you tap a permanent for mana, it produces 3 times as much instead. So Kinnan, you stack replacement effects. So you would stack Kinnan if you're doing a Llanowar. Kinnan puts 1 to 2, 2 triple to 6. So your Llanowar is 6 mana.
Yep. I have so many of these cards lying around.
Of Nyxblooms?
Yeah, I don't think that I opened a single collector's pack of Theros Beyond Death without getting one.
I'm jealous. I bought a ton, and they definitely weren't bad, but they're just going to keep going up. They're such a good card. Absolutely. They enable shenanigans.
Next up, we got another one of it's kind of grown into one of my favorite cards recently. Steel Hellkite. 6 mana for a 5/5 artifact dragon. It's got flying. You can pay 2 to give it +1/+0 until end of turn, or you can pay 3 or X. Sorry. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value X, whose controller was dealt combat damage by a Steel Hellkite this turn, and activate only once each turn.
I really like that card because it. First off, you have the mana to make that a kill card. If someone doesn't have a flyer, that can pretty easily kill them.
Mm-hmm.
But I also just like the ability to like blow like soul rings off the board for anyone who knows me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you can Rite of Replication this to have 5 of them and just get rid of every mana value that's a problem.
Right? I am who I am as a person.
Exactly.
You also have a Stonecoil Serpent, another card that can just get crazy. X. I think it's funny that's not a serpent though. It's just X. It's colorless. 0/0. Reach, trample, protection from multicolored. It enters with X/1/1 counters on it.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, this card can run train on the table.
Absolutely. Speaking of running train on the table,
I think this is a pretty cool one in this deck. Yeah.
The next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you take it then?
You've got your Thassa's Oracle. So it's a double blue 1/3 Merfolk Wizard. When it enters, you look at the top X cards of your library, where X is your devotion to blue. Put up to one of them on top of your library and the rest on the bottom in a random order. If X is greater than or equal to the number of cards in your library, you win the game. And I just like that you can technically, you can't mill your cards out, but you can dump that in at instant speed and win is nice.
Yeah.
I love alternative win cons.
Yeah.
Like sure, a Thassa's Oracle, like Demonic Consultation, like we get it. Yeah, you exiled your library, blah, blah, blah. But like just a fun Thassa's win is still a cool win.
Yeah. And Thassa's Oracle is in there specifically because the next card's in there. And that's Thrasios Triton Hero. Green and blue for a 1/3 legendary Merfolk Wizard. You can pay 4 and scry 1, then reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it onto battlefield tapped, otherwise draw a card. When you make infinite mana with this, you can just draw your deck, play your Oracle, and win.
Well, and the nice thing about Kinnan's ability, too, is that you're not casting it, so you can't counter it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What are you going to do, stifle it? I'll do it again.
Yeah. What are you going to do, stifle it? I've got like 14 counter spells in here.
Even without the counter spells, even if they stifle it, it's like, okay, it stays in the deck, and I will just continue.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Thrasios is definitely a good... I didn't see that one on the list there, so... Yeah, you do. Once you have the infinite mana, you can just filter your deck into a Thrasios Oracle win. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to have a way that if you couldn't fix a lot of your mana into blue, so just dump all your creatures out through Kinnan or something, that you could still use the infinite mana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like this because this deck isn't relying on that, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to infinite combo to win.
No.
But you have the option if you need to.
Yeah. If you're in a tough spot, you're able to get that off relatively frequently.
I like that you've got multiple win cons. You've got that Drown in Dreams where you can hit like 2 players potentially with a ton of mana. I like the Thrasios, what's the word, Oracle win. That's great. I really like that you can overrun people with damage. Like, I like different ways to win. I like the Simic Ascendancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think it's built very cool so far. You want to finish this creature segment?
Absolutely. We've got Triplicate Titan, 9 mana for a 9/9 artifact creature golem, flying, vigilance, and trample. When it dies, create a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token with flying, a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token with vigilance, and a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token with trample.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And that's the creature section.
Yeah, it's I really like Triplicate Titan. You don't see it played very often either.
No.
And you should.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a phenomenal card. I really like this one.
Yeah, so getting to our artifacts here, I even just looking at this off the bat, I like this a lot. You got your Arcane Signet. It's 2 mana. You add 1 mana of any color to your in your commander's identity. So again, that's tapping for your 2 colors that you need. It's an Arcane Signet that taps for 2 is great.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we've got our Basalt Monolith. 3 mana. It doesn't untap during your untap step. You can tap it for 3 colorless, or you can pay 3 to untap Basalt Monolith.
Yep. Infinite once it hits the board.
Yep.
Infinite colorless at least, but...
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's okay.
Next card fixes that problem. Or not next card, sorry. One of the next cards.
Okay, we'll see. You've got your Forsaken Monument, a card I can't find anywhere. Forsaken Monument is 5 mana legendary artifact. Colorless creatures you control get 2/2. Whenever you tap a permanent 4 colorless mana, you add an additional 1. So again, very on theme with Kinnan. And whenever you cast a colorless, you gain 2 life. I love Forsaken Monument. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. And I messed up. That card should be in the deck, but it is not. Give me 2 seconds.
Does it start with a C?
Don't think so, no. 2 seconds, it's in the other list.
Okay. I'll play the Jeopardy music. Do, 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 do.
It absolutely does start with a C. Yes.
Is it Chromatic Orrery?
It certainly is.
Chromatic Orrery, yes. I will. Yeah, as soon as you said the next one, I'm like, well, Chromatic Orrery is pretty great. Chromatic Orrery, I believe, is 7 mana.
Yeah, I just added it to the list. So.
Okay, perfect. I've pulled it up on the side. Chromatic Orrery, 7 mana legendary artifact. You can spend mana as though or mana of any color, which is, again, exactly what you need for Kinnan. I knew that this was supposed to be in this one. Yeah. You tap to add 5, which with Kinnan is tap to add 6, which is great. 5 and a tap, you draw a card for each color among permanents you control. That's not as good in this deck because we don't really care that much about. And what are we gonna do? Get a draw 2?
Yeah, exactly.
But that ability to all of your mana suddenly can trigger Kinnan's ability. That's again, Basalt drops down, game over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Basalt drops down, that's you drawing everything, winning with Thassa's Oracle. If someone stifles it, you've got your infinite mana to still mill them, draw. Yeah, it's Chromatic Orrery's a game over card in this one.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Then next up, we've got Forsaken Monument.
No, we did Forsaken Monument.
Did we?
Yeah, I was talking about how much I love it.
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah.
Next up, then, we got Isochron Scepter. 2 mana, it's got Imprint. When it comes into play, you may remove an instant card with mana value 2 or less from your hand from the game. And you can pay 2 and tap it to copy the imprinted instant card and play the copy without paying its mana cost.
Yeah. I love Isochron Scepter. It's good.
Yeah, this is in there purely because Dramatic Reversal's in here.
That's exactly why it's in there, yep.
Yeah.
Dramatic Reversal's a silly card.
Absolutely.
You have Ring of 3 Wishes, another card you don't see very often. 5 colorless. It enters with 3 wish counters on it. 5 colorless and a tap. You remove a wish counter from Ring of 3 Wishes, search your library for a card and put it into your hand, then shuffle. Again, that's great tutor in colors that don't have the tutor for artifact things that you'd be looking for.
Yeah.
I guess blue kind of has a little bit of artifact tutor, but you get it.
Yeah.
But that's nothing mana in this. Again, like you're generating so much mana. Like you could put a Helix Pinnacle win in this deck really easy as well.
I did have that one in here at one point.
That's what I mean, right? Like you could reach 100 counters so easy in a deck. Like again, where you've got how many elves over there? You have 12 elves. And they're all capable of producing 2+ mana on a tap. Like, yeah, they're silly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you've got so many things like your Merc Fiend that's untapping them, Kinnan's ability to dump the mana into like mana's no problem in a deck like this.
Yeah, no, it's not a thing at all.
I also really love this card too, Skyclave Relic.
Yeah.
It's been one of my favorite cards ever since it's been printed. It's the 3 mana. It's got kicker 3. It's indestructible. When it enters, if it was kicked, you create 2 tapped copies that are 2 tapped tokens that are copies of it, and they tap for 1 mana. I just love this card. It's like Commander Sphere, the 3 mana tap to add 1 mana of any color cards. I love running still in decks.
Mm-hmm.
So this just like lets you, if you've got extra mana, great, you can turn it into 3 mana, which with your commander is like 6 mana. And in the worst case, you pay 3 for something that infinitely taps for 2. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that card. It's just great. You never see it.
Yeah. Then we got Soul Ring. We all know what that one does.
Yeah. I'll let you take the next one too.
Sure. Next up, we've got Staff of Domination. 3 mana. You can pay 1 to untap Staff of Domination. You can pay 2 and tap it to gain a life. 3 and tap it to untap target creature. 4 and tap it to tap target creature. Or 5 and tap it to draw a card.
This is such a great card in decks that can generate mana like this.
Yeah, absolutely. You can draw till you have what you need, tap everything so you can just win right away with Triumph of the Hordes or something like that.
I really like running this in my elf decks alongside Corma Spell.
Yeah.
So I can tap everyone's lands every turn.
Monster.
But who am I? Who am I to say that, right? Yeah, and the thing, once you can generate at least 5 mana with a creature, you have infinite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you can just untap that creature at 4 mana and then untap the staff for the 5th, then you're good. And that's pretty much like that's a Llanowar tribe almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Priest of Titania is going to hit that. Archdruid is going to hit that.
Circle of Dreams
Circle of Dreams Druid is absolutely going to hit that. Mm-hmm. And it gives you the draw as well.
Yep.
We've also got our Swiftfoot Boots for protection.
Yeah.
Zoom.
Zoom.
Yeah, 2 mana equipped creature has hexproof haste and equips for 1.
Yeah. Then we've got Thought Vessel, 2 mana. You have no maximum hand size, and you can tap for a colorless.
You've never been able to unsee it as a samurai with a mustache, have you?
I have not.
I have not either. It's permanently cursed into my brain that is what is going on.
Yeah.
I can't even see that it might have been something else.
Yeah, no. Once you see the face there, it's there.
It's over. It's game over. It's done. It's the samurai.
Yeah.
And then you also, to end your list off here, you've got your 1,000-year elixir. 3 mana, you can activate abilities of creatures you control as though they have haste and pay 1 on tap that creature. Untap target creature. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Again, once you've got your 3 mana, everything you jump down. No birds in the list. Interesting.
Didn't have one in front of me.
That's fair. That's the way to build. Sometimes you got to build with what's available.
Yeah.
I really like this deck. I think that this is just like really put together. Like it's not a crazy list. It's like $600. The mana curve is nothing. Like everything is basically under 3 mana.
$600.
600. Mine says 3.
No, I think you accidentally said 600.
Oh, 300. Okay, yes, it's not 600. It's 300. And again, some of that stuff you could like drop down pretty easy. I assume Chromatic Orreries. Yeah, Chromatic Orrery is an expensive one.
Yeah, you don't need a Thrasios and Thassa's Oracle, and that would take care of like $4 or like almost $50.
Yeah, you can definitely, and you can put these in other things. Another great card is what's the Craterhoof is great in this deck to whip Craterhoof off the top.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like the direction you went with it. It's not as salty, Kinnan.
No. This one was trying to be a bit more fun.
Although the salt sum does say that it's an average of 50 salt. You're 14 points saltier.
Yeah, I don't really know how my little elf deck ended up being that. Like, initially, there were like 24 elves in here.
I think it's because you're running the Dramatic Reversal combo.
Okay, let's see how much that takes off quick. Dramatic Reversal and Isochron Scepter.
Takes off 2 points.
Takes off 2. Yeah.
And if you took out Thassa's?
Thassa's Oracle.
Thassa's and Thrasios, what would we get?
Thassa's alone takes down to 45.
Yeah.
Thrasios then 44.
Yeah, we're getting there. You can unsalt this deck pretty easy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We won't do it, but you can.
Yeah.
I'm really a big fan of this list. I think this is super cool, super fun. Like this isn't one I'd be upset to play against. You've got lots of cool win cons, you got lots of cool answers. I like it. I'm a simple man. I would have just like filled it with creatures. 100% creature deck. Everything is creatures.
Yeah, fair.
Instance for the week.
Yeah. One thing that I was kind of nervous about with this one was the land count, but playtesting it, that was no problem. Because there's only 29 in this list.
Yeah.
And sometimes it felt like I could probably cut 1 or 2 as well.
Yeah, like I said, I like this list. We went through it really quick. We didn't have Brian, so we need Brian's commentary. But no, it's I think this is a very, very cool one. We will. I think we'll wrap it there. But yeah, the notes will be there. Hopefully you can get this one on the stream as well at some point. This will be a really fun one.
Yeah.
Did you want any other comments on this one before we wrap this?
No, I think that's about it. If not this one, then there will be my other version on the list, which slightly saltier. It's got Oko in it. It's got Narset, like Carpet of Flowers type things.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really, really like Kinnan as a commander. I like how much mana he can produce. I like that he makes it feel like you're not punished for playing the big splashy, like 8 mana and raise Forerunners or 7 mana Thorn Mammoths. I like that it feels like you can still be on par with those lower CMC decks.
Yeah, I think this is just a pretty cool one.
Yeah.
We'll wrap this one there. Oh, that's the wrong music. There we go. That's the bye-bye music. Thanks, everyone, for listening. If you like this deck, definitely go to your LGS, build something similar. Send us suggestions what you would have put into the deck. For me, it would be Eldrazi. Everything's Eldrazi now.
Yeah. Message me on Twitter and let me know where I messed up.
Yeah, all of our content's over on intothe99.com. You can check out Abyss Proxy Shop. Promo code IT99 if some of the cards are a little expensive, like you want to get some fast as oracles kind of thing. Get out, build decks like that. It's always a good time. We've got lots of YouTube stuff that keeps coming out, so it's been really, really fun to stream these. I'm hoping that we can see this one on stream soon. I sent an insane list to my game stores, like 2 separate game stores in the city, so they pulled collectively, I think, like 15 or 1600 cards for me. It was pretty silly, so I'm happy to say I'll be building a bunch of new stuff that's going to be cool. We're going to be launching some Patreon stuff that's going to have a little bit of bonus stuff, a little bit of a chance to get some of the stream games in with us, and yeah, we'll be talking a little bit more about that. Phyrexia spoilers probably coming up soon because everyone's been seeing it and talking about it. I'm very excited for the set.
I'm insanely excited for this set.
Yeah, there's a lot I need, and that the price of this Junji Ito Elish Norn is hurting my heart. But yeah, thank you guys so much for getting to the end of the episode. We really appreciate it, and yeah, have a great week.
See ya.
And if you live out here where it's snowing, yeah, sorry.
Stay warm.
Yeah, stay warm. Stay safe, everyone. Have a good one. Bye.